Hello everyone, welcome to the MEED Projects webinar. Today I'll be taking you through the platform and we'll be looking at how you can use MEED Projects for lead generation. My name is Jill and I'm part of the customer success team. Also joining with me is Kareem, who is also part of the same team. And we'll be looking at providing you with some useful tips and tricks in how you can utilize the platform and provide you with the most opportunities and pipeline. But before we start, I would just like to give you a brief introduction about the customer success team. So as you can see, this is my colleagues with me, Kareem and Vladana. As you are aware, we mainly look after the trainings and provide you with customer support. And we also work hand in hand with the account managers. Now, aside from many things, we're also here to help you in unlocking the full potential of the platform and make sure that you gain the most value out of your subscription to MEED. Now, for today's session, like I said, me and Kareem will be taking you to the platform to show you how you can generate project leads, how you can extract project data, and how you can also utilize the key tools to ensure that you stay up to date with the latest information and developments on the platform. Throughout this session, you can also ask your questions and send it to us, and we'll try our best to make sure that we cover and accommodate all of your questions today. So if you have any questions at any given point of time, you can simply click the Q&A button, which is found at the bottom of the screen. Towards the end, we'll be asking your feedback about what you think of this session, and this will really give us more ideas on how we can improve today's session and future sessions, as well as make your experience better. Now let us start. So as you can see on my screen, this is the platform of MEED Projects. And we'll be looking at the main tabs, and this will be looking at the projects, the companies tab, and the analysis tab. Now for now, let's start with looking at the projects tab. So as you can see here in the projects tab, you'll find all the list of projects available on the right side. Now, of course, as you know, you can search for any projects by simply typing the name of the project using the search bar. However, for today's session, we want to make sure that you capture all the relevant projects for you. This is why it is very important to apply the filters that are relevant to make the projects of your interest available. And I'll show you all the essential criteria that you need to select every time that you do a project search. So first criteria that we need to consider is the location. So as you can see here, in MEED Projects, we are grouping them into the regions. And of course, I understand that some of you might be focused on a particular market or a specific country. So as long as you see this red arrow, you can click on it and it will bring down the name of countries under that region. So for example, if you're looking at UAE, you can simply tick UAE. And let's say if you'd like to be more specific, and let's say you're only interested in projects that are related in Abu Dhabi, then maybe you can select only Abu Dhabi here and you can just simply tick on it. All right. But for the purpose of our session, let's select all GCC. Now, next, after looking at the location, the next important and essential criteria is the sector. So as you can see here, these are the list of industries that we track in MEED Projects. So these are the main industries such as construction, transport, and power. Now, if you are focused on a particular sector, now you can select that sector. And if you wish to be more specific and you want to know what are the projects related to construction, simply click this red arrow to bring down the subsectors available or under construction sector. Like for example, you have here commercial. If you're only looking at, let's say, only residential projects, then you can simply select the smaller subsector. All right. Now again, for the purpose of our session, we'll select all construction. We can also select transport. So I'm just clicking this red arrow to show you what's under each of the main industry. And then we can also select oil as well as gas. All right. Now, once you have selected the relevant sectors for you, you may proceed with the next essential criteria, which is the stage and the status. Now, in MEED projects, we start to track as early as the study stage. This is when the project has been announced and under feasibility. And then there is the design stage or FEED stage. Under design, the consultant has been appointed, while FEED or front-end engineering design, you will know who the FEED contractors are. Now, during the bidding stage, MEED also provides you with tracking projects that are now under bidding. We categorize them into three parts. First is the main contract PQ or pre-qualification. This is when you will know who has been pre-qualified to bid for the project, for the main contract, and who have been also in after main contract PQ. We also have main contract bidding, and this is when the tender has been issued for the main contract, so you can see who are the actual bidders for the project. Now, once the tender has been closed, it will go under bid evaluation, and you can see at the bottom or under pre-execution, these are all of your pipeline. Now, of course, some of you will be interested at a certain stage of the project. Now, maybe some consultants would be interested to know the project as early as study stage, while some contractors might be interested to know the project as early as FEED or design. Now, it's very important to know that you can look at projects as early as a study or pre-execution, so you can start building your pipeline. Now, once the project is awarded to the main contractor, then the stage of the project will change to execution. And that is when the work will commence. So it's very important that you select the relevant stages as well as the relevant sectors for you and the locations location of the project that you wish to target. Now, these are the three main filters that you need to always remember every time that you do a project search. Now, once you've applied your filters, you can now select and click apply. However, in this session, I also would like to highlight how you can extract the project data and look at the relevant data points on an Excel spreadsheet. So before we click apply, you can see here project fields to export. All right, so this drop-down button will show here all of the data points that MEED projects will provide on the Excel spreadsheet. So once it's already selected, it will appear as a column, and you can add more data points that you think will be relevant to appear on your Excel spreadsheet. So if you want to know if the project is owned by government or private, you can take the owner type. You can also include the scope of work if you would like to know more about the project, the specification, and so on. Now, you can also add the latest news to get the latest information about the project. Now, under the roles, you can see here which are the companies are playing in which different roles. So you can see which companies are the consultants, who would be the main contractors. So it depends on the type of companies that you would like to track or target. And then you can see here also key personnel. Now, I urge you to select key personnel, and it is a must. Why? Because this will provide you with the key people and direct people who are involved in the project. These are people who are such as the project managers or procurement managers. And in this column, you can see their details, such as their names, as well as their telephone numbers. And this will serve as your source of leads. All right. Now, once you've selected all the necessary fields to export, you can then click apply. Okay. Now, as you can see, based on our filters, we have generated over 5,500 list of projects, which is worth over 2.5 trillion US dollars. So the first thing that you'd like to do with this list is to export this to an Excel. All right. Now we'll click this button, which is found on the right side, and we'll wait for it to load before we review this sheet. But before that, now it's very important for you to know that once you've applied your search and your filters, you can also create this as a saved search and add alerts. So simply click this button just found at the bottom of apply and reset button. All right, and then it allows you to customize this further by naming the search according your filter. So for example, let's say GCC all active projects. We can also share this search to any of your colleagues who has access to MEED projects. So in my case, I can share this with my colleague Kareem. And once I save this search, he will receive a separate notification to his email with a link to this project save search. And then when you scroll down here, you can see that you can also set up the alert frequency. So if you want to receive weekly notifications, and this will be done also through your email, you can select the frequency as well as the type of notifications. Now, if you would like to receive all updates and changes on the projects, you can simply select this. Or if you want a specific notification, let's say you only want to receive an alert whenever there is a new project added, then you can simply select this. All right. Now, once you've selected the notification and the alerts, you can now save it. Okay. So once you've saved your search, you will find it under your save searches, and you can simply select it every time that you're in the projects tab. So you don't have to always repeat the same process of adding filters and saving searches and alerts. You can simply load this and it will bring down the list of projects for you. You can also find your save search on your home page, which is found here under My Workspace. So you don't have to even go to the Projects tab to load your save search. You'll find it under the map, under My Save Searches here. All right. So now just to take you back to the Projects tab, there's no limit on how many save searches you can create. So the beauty of this is, if let's say, for example, you want to create a search for projects that are now awarded and ongoing, or if you would like to create a search for a particular region or countries, then you can choose to. All right. So now, if you have questions when it comes to setting up alerts and setting up your criteria, again, please make sure that you send us your questions by clicking the Q&A button. Now, let's have a look at our results or the project listing. So as you can see, this is the same number of projects that we have generated. Now, the beauty of having to look at in Excel is with a huge list, it will be quite challenging to look at it individually. But with an Excel sheet, you can customize this further, and you can also filter it by location. So let's say, for example, your focus is Saudi Arabia. All right, and you would like to know projects that have now been awarded under, let's say, oil and gas sector. So you can do that. You can also filter this by the stage. Like I said, if you're looking at projects that are now in execution, so you have the project status. So again, everything that is ticked under project fields will appear as a column on your Excel sheet. And then if you scroll down further here, you remember we ticked under roles the consultants, the MEED contractors, so you can see which companies are the key stakeholders. Now, if you remember, I highlight here key personnel to include on your Excel extraction, because you can see here who are the main contacts under this project that you need to be reaching out to with their telephone details. All right. But of course, this is just one way of looking at your opportunities, your pipeline, and your leads. Now, there's also one way of doing that is also by looking at the platform. But before we go back to the platform, another way of looking at your contacts on the Excel is by looking at project with roles. So as you can see under the project with roles, you'll find all the projects under the same save search. And at the right side, you'll find all the companies which are associated to that project. Now, if you're looking at the particular role, you can simply, again, apply a filter, which I already done, and you can simply select the role of who you would like to be in touch with. So for example, if you're looking at the main contractor, you'll find on the right side your contacts. All right, so you can look at the key personnel as well as the project with roles when you're looking for your leads. All right, now let's have a look now and go back to the platform. So like I said, another way of looking for more opportunities and information about the project is by going to the project profile itself. So now we'll be exploring a project profile and how you can use the tools that will benefit you and help you gather more information about the project. So as you can see, what we're looking at is one example of a project profile. Now underneath the project name, you'll find here the tools that you can use. So you can also add this project as your favorite. So how will this be useful is that you can easily access to your favorite projects when you go to your homepage, where you'll find there under My Workspace all your favorite projects. And you can also share this favorite project to one of your colleagues, wherein again, once you send this and share this to your colleague, you will receive a notification with a link to your favorite project. Another advantage of adding favorite projects is that if you have already downloaded the mobile app for MEED Projects, which is, by the way, available to any Android or Apple device, it will be available on the App Store or Google Play Store. You can simply look at and view the projects within the snap of your finger by using the app. And you can download this for free. You just simply log in with the same credentials when you log into the platform. All right. So one more tool that I would highly suggest when you're in the project profile is how you can set up an alert for a project. So by simply clicking this arrow to the right, you can see that you can set up your alerts for the profile of the project, for the project itself, and you can set up the frequency as well as the type of notification that you can receive. So as you can see, if you'd like to receive a daily alert, or if you'd like to receive an update whenever there is a contact change, then you can simply subscribe. All right. And one more thing, when you're also adding an alert, an advantage is when you're looking at projects that is now still on the pipeline, let's say it's still in the pre-execution stages, it's also important that you add an alert. So I'm just opening one project profile that is still in a bid evaluation stage. So as you can see here, the project is expected to be awarded in July. And if you look at the right side, you can again add an alert. And when you add status change, when the project, let's say, changed from bid evaluation to execution, so it means it has been awarded, then you'll be one of the first one to know when a project has been awarded, and then you can approach the right key stakeholders at the right moment. All right, so this will really help you in not only knowing the update on the project, but also tracking the project and when is the best time to approach. Now, going back to the same project profile, you can get to know more about the project. When you scroll down, you'll find different tabs here. So we're looking at the project details. And when you scroll down, you'll find the description and the scope. You can also find here the companies and the contacts. Now, if you notice here, you have the owner, who is the feed contractor, who is also the main contractor, as well as the MEP and civil subcontractor. Now, if you notice under the pre-qualified and the bidder column, you can see the company list of who pre-qualified to bid for the project and who have bidded for the project. Once it's awarded to the main contractor, we will provide you with the main contact as well as his telephone number. At any time that you, let's say, would need more information or would need further contact information, let's say, for example, you tried to reach this number, it wasn't a working number, you can simply use this tool, which is Contact Researcher. This is found again at the bottom of the project name. You simply click this button and you send us your query, and you can ask us, please provide the exact query. Let's say, please provide the alternative mobile number for Samsung, and you can even add more questions that say include the email address. And once you've submitted your query by clicking this button, you can expect to receive a response from our research team within the next 3 to 5 working days. And there is a way for you to track your queries. It's by going to My Account and clicking Track Contact Researcher. So over here, you can see all the queries you've sent, and you can also check the latest status of the query. Now, in any case, if you need to follow up on a query and you would like, and we understand that it's sometimes could be urgent request or specific request, please, you're more than welcome to reach out to your account managers or your dedicated customer success managers so we can also support you. All right. So basically, that's for the projects and how you can also look at how to get more information by using the key tools within the project. Now I will hand it over to Kareem, but before I do that, again, if you have any questions, we'll be covering them towards the end of the session. Just submit it to us by clicking the Q&A button. Now, thank you so much, and we'll be back with you. I'll be back with you shortly. Now, Kareem, if you can take over. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Jel. So amazing explanation, Del. So after we finish the projects part covered by Jel, we're going to cover the companies tab and part of the analysis, which is connected to the lead generation. But before I do that, I see that we have a lot of questions, which is really good. I like that we have a lot of engagement. So I would go through them quickly. I would answer as much as I can, and then we'll leave as well a part of it or for the new questions to be done at the end of the session. I'll just click on the Q&As. I'll start by the first one. Is from, we have Mr. Anas. He was talking about what about defense and security sector. Mr. Anas, in terms of the defense and security, we don't have it as a separate subsector. It will be considered, again, part of the construction. So for example, as Jel was talking about, if I went back to the projects tab, under the subsectors here for construction, you will not find a separate defense and security. However, the trick that you can play around it is that you can search for this specific word. For example, if I put here, let's choose here, for example, I made it in advance, but let me do it for you again. I will just click here, Ministry of Defense, and I click search, which is the easy way that Jill was talking about, is a quick search for that. It will pick up the projects that have any Ministry of Defense or military on it, or you can click on companies, where you can check all of the defense ministers in different countries. By clicking in the company profile, you will see all of the associated projects under the defense ministry. So it will be somehow related to the security and defense, but it will be the construction as well. This is why we didn't split it in this aspect. So I hope as well this answers your question.
Yes.
The following question.
And sorry, Kareem. That was a very nice explanation to your questions, but just to connect it with the alerts and the filters, the filters that we set up. Now, sorry, Kareem, if you just go to the projects tab, if you open a separate tab.
Yeah, here it is.
Yes. So when you apply your search for the location or the sector or the stages, you can also enter the keyword there and save it as your search. So, however, when you add the keyword, it might make your result narrow. So just be mindful of that. But another way of doing it is by, again, searching the keyword on the search bar. But you can also add it to your filters if you wish. All right. Thank you, Kareem.
Amazing. So now we got the point is that you can either do it, Anas, from the keyword, adding the defense or the military or the keyword that you want to check, or you can do it directly from the search bar. Following the second question, I can see here Rahis Osman. When you do a quick search based on the project name, does the search pick up partial project name? Yes. So for example, if a project name is, I don't know, like DIP, for example, this is one, Dubai Investment Park. If I put only DIP, it will pick up anything that have DIP. So even partial words can work into that. And actually I recommend it if you don't know the full name as DIP, stormwater and groundwater. This is the project, by the way, that I'm talking about here. It's better to put only one partial name so that you make sure you capture it in your search. Thanks, Rahis. The following question is Yazan. Can you repeat what FEED stands for again? So FEED stands for front-end engineer design, as Jel was saying, which is basically a design stage, but this terminology is used more regularly with the oil and gas, industrial, or big water projects. Okay, thanks, Yazan. So following the second question, we have here, Mr. Yazan, again, you're asking about the difference between net value, budget, and contract value. These are the three values that appeared in the project profile, as Jel was explaining. So the budget value is the value of the project before it got awarded, which is in the pre-execution stage. Any stage for the contractor that is not awarded yet to it is a budget value. As soon as the contractor is awarded and the execution start, this becomes the contract value because the project have a contract that's signed by the contractor. The net project is equal to the project value at a certain point of time. So let me give you an example. If you capture the project in a pre-execution stage, like a design, so the net project value will be equal to the budget. If you capture the project in an execution stage, which means the contractor is executing, the net project value will be equal to the contract value. This is just a simple way to explain it. It has different dimension to it. So Yazan, if you don't mind, we can get this more specific as well with the customer success post the webinar. This was just a quick brief of the understanding, but we can get more in depth by mentioning example as well. And then we have another question by Yazan. Thanks a lot for sending all of this question. So the alerts for the safe search would be sent to me alone for all the people sharing the same account. The safe search would be sent to you alone unless you share it. As Jill mentioned, there is a sharing part where you can share it with different colleagues.
Yes, and Karim, if I may add on that, the alerts will not be shared or sent to your colleagues. It will only be the safe search results that you can share with your colleagues.
100% correct. If they want to make it an alert after they receive the safe search, you can just add the alert manually. Great. Yes. So I will take this one last question before we jump into the companies, and then we will try to accommodate all of the other things. The last question I will take now is by Omar bin Rashid. Most of the time, the contact person details are wrong for the project. What should we do in that case? So it's really important question. When you find that there is a mobile number is not working, or maybe a missing direct email that you want to reach out, it's really simple. You go on top of the project profile, click in contact researcher, and I think Jill did one of the examples. You just write what you really need from an email, a direct mobile number of the person. I suggest, as Jill did as well, to put the name of the company you're searching for, and this inquiry will be received by our researcher. They will reach out to the source and come back to you via an email. And this is the most important feature that you need to count on to bridge the gap between if there is any number is not working and the correct or an alternative contact that you reach. So yes. I will just move on to the structure. If Jill, you don't want to add anything, I will move on to companies part.
No, it's fine. Yeah, we can proceed.
Perfect. Great. So I assume now you can see my screen. I'm directly going to click on the companies tab, which is the second angle. It's a different way to look into information. I think, guys, if you will notice that it's a similar way because you have the filters on the left-hand side and the right-hand side, and instead of the projects, we have the companies list. So I will follow exactly the same advice of Jill to take care of specific 3 filters, which is the key filters that will have the biggest impact in our list. If you guys remember, we went through location, and I will just pick maybe any of the countries. You can pick up a sub-region if you want. It's based on your focus and subscription. So I will check maybe Saudi and UAE, just an example for us. You can get more in depth for cities and provinces, as well as Jill said. Then you go to the sector, the second filter, and I will choose maybe construction. You can as well make a multiple, or you can get more in depth in a certain sector. The third and the most important one as well is the stage and status. I will always choose execution and pre-execution to make sure that I capture all of the active projects in any country. So I will pick these 2 as well. The only advice I will add, which is different a bit than the project, is that whenever you're dealing with company, it's really important to add a 4th filter to these 3. And this filter is called the roles. Under here, you can see the roles. And this will help you guys when you generate leads to be more specific in your target audience. And instead of having everyone, developers, consultants, etc., I can specify my search to contractors, or I can get even more specific. For example, if I want only main contractors, I can tick here main contractor, and then I will click apply. You can see the data will be reflected here. So we have in total 746 active main contractor in Saudi and UAE for construction. This is how specific it is. You can get even more specific. I had some clients that they work with international companies. They don't want maybe to deal with local contractors, or vice versa. Some people are targeting the Saudi Arabian and the Emirati companies. It depends on your focus. You can tweak that with the company country of origin. Let me give you a quick example. So for example, if I want only to see all of the international companies in Saudi and UAE, I can select all. So now I have all the countries that covered by the country of origin MEED, and I will go manually just down here to untick two. I will untick Saudi Arabia, and I will untick as well United Arab Emirates here, UAE. And then I will click apply. Always remember, after you finish anything in filters, click apply, so you have the reflected data. So now, instead of 700 plus, I have 87 active international contracted working construction in Saudi and UAE. You can play with it as much as you want. You can do the same thing as well by creating a saved search here. As Jill mentioned, you can share it with your colleagues, or you can save it in your homepage. Great. If I went a bit up as well, you can see similar tricks. You can download to Excel, as we agreed. You can as well mark a certain company as a favorite, or you can mark it as alert, just in case if you want to keep track of this specific company. Let me pick any company random. Let's say, for example, Shapoorji, the first company that I have as a main contractor. You can see the company profile open for us. Again, same tricks applies. You can contact the researcher, really important, so that when you click here, you can ask any of these topics about the company. I would like you guys to imagine you're having a contact research ready to get your inquiry, as if you're outsourcing a research department to get more information about the company or the project that you are targeting. If I scroll a bit down, you can see a general information, the origin of the country, the website, and the landline, just in case if you want to validate if this is the company you're targeting. The most important thing that will benefit us in the lead generation is the associated projects. So I have a list of all of the Shapoorji projects in the whole region. And this is an important point that you need to be careful with. When you are in a company profile, the projects filters become neutral again. This is everything. Some of these projects can be on hold. Some of them can be bid evaluation. Some of them can be in Emirates, in Qatar. So you need to tweak these filters by visiting each column. So each column will act as a filter for us. I will pick execution, for example. So as soon as I click filter, it will apply all of the execution projects by Shapoorji. I will go to the country. Maybe this time I don't want Saudi and UAE. I can take only UAE. You can play with it as much as you want. And then I click filter. So now I have the UAE execution projects. Industry, maybe I just want construction. I don't want everything. So as you can see, you got the point. You can tweak it or customize it based on your needs. You can download to Excel, by the way. And this is really important for lead generation, because you can make an Excel sheet for every single contractor you are targeting. One for Shapoorji, one for Bawani, one for Saudi Bin Laden, one for ABB Rock. You can make as much Excel sheets that have the projects for the clients or the potential clients that you're reaching out. Under the list of the projects that we're having here, and it goes without saying, by the way, every single project is hyperlinked. You can click on it and you go directly to the project. Under the projects list, you have the relationships. It's really, really important, because here we give you the client of your client, right? So I can tell you that Shapoorji, for example, appeared with A'mar Properties 43 times before. They appeared with Kuwait Public Authority 18 times, Nakhil 16 times, etc., etc. So this gives you an impression who is the typical client for Shapoorji as an owner. Maybe you want to know what are the 43 projects that is done by A'mar and appeared on it as well, Shapoorji. You can click in the owners and you will see A'mar is hyperlinked if you want to visit the company, and the 43 project, if you clicked on it, you will find the list in front of you of the project that appeared Shapoorji on A'mar's project. So this is how you can navigate the different relationships. You can do the same with consultants. You can do the same with MEP, the subcontractors. The most important thing that I really like personally about the relationships is the contractors, because this is really important lead generation gate for the salespeople. Because under contractors, I can show you the competition that applied against Shapoorji in different projects. So I can tell you that Shapoorji appeared 9 times applying together beside engineering contracting company. Under or against Jafar, they had 8 projects, Arab Tech Construction 7 projects. And we all know that the competition of your client can be your client as well. So you can do the same exact thing. You click in these companies and you have a different gate to more projects to focus on. This is how you can navigate through the company profile. Again, I will remind you, if you have any question, you can directly go to the Q&As and we'll try our best to accommodate that. And the second and the last step for me is, again, companies, but from a different perspective, which is the analysis. I know that we did one webinar about the analysis, and it's recorded as well, guys. So we can share it, or you can find it uploaded. So I will just take one layer of it, which is the company's layer. It's connected to the lead generation, and I will choose specifically the company rankings. So I already opened it in advance. If I clicked on it, this is how it will look like. You can see the company rankings from its name. This is the top 20 company in a certain industry or a certain location based on your choice. Why is that important? Because we need to see our competition, what is the share that they are owning in the market, or our potential clients, how rich they are based on the projects that they are owning or executing. And to do that, we will do exactly the same thing. You need to tweak your filters as we agreed. The most important 3 filters, as Jill advised us, is location, where I'm going to choose a specific country. Maybe I can check this time Qatar for our colleagues working in Qatar, or any other country as well. You can do multiple one. You can get more specific, as we discussed. In sectors, I can choose as well construction, stage and status. I will choose the execution and the pre-execution. As you can see, we repeat the same steps. And as we discussed as well, in companies, I always add a 4th filter, which is the roles, and we'll follow the same example to tick on the main contractors. As soon as I click apply, this filter or this graph is going to be updated, and I will have the top 20 main contractors that are actively working in construction in Qatar. This is the top guys. These guys need to be your clients. Either they are in Saudi, either they are in UAE, either they are in GCC. It depends which focus you have. If I put the mouse in any of these companies, let's take, for example, Al Jaber Trading. For example, I can tell you that Al Jaber right now, they are executing total value of projects equal to 1.1 billion US dollars. This is the total value of all of the projects they're executing right now. For our sales colleagues, especially, if you want to jump in Al Jaber, you can simply click directly in this block, and it will take you directly to the company profile, where I can justify why they are the 4th, and we can go project by project so that it become a lead generation for you as well. So this is one of the tricks that you can use to generate more leads. The last thing I will show to you here is the same thing that Jill advised as well, create saved search. I can create saying top clients in Qatar, whatever you want to name. This is just an example for you. I can set up an alert, let's say weekly, and then I can confirm and save. Why is this important? Because every single time I'm going to just simply access MEED projects, let's say, imagine now that we access the home page, I will scroll a bit down and I can see my saved search here, top clients in Qatar. It's like a dashboard. And if anything changed, let's say instead of Jaber, Shapoorji jumped to be the 4th, you will receive an alert in your email even if you're out of the website. And it goes without saying, if I clicked on it directly, it will open the top 20 based on what you saved in your filters. Here we are. Great. So these are the second trick, I would say, that we are going to cover for the lead generation. Again, keep the question rolling. I can see that we have 34 questions in the Q&As. It's a lot of questions, which is really good. We're really happy that we have this interaction. However, with due respect, if the question is repeated and we answered upon before, I will just skip it. And this is a recorded one. So if I skipped it, this means that we are going to, it's covered already. You can just come back and then see in the flow of the normal session. Okay. So I will start by the first one. What is the difference between the main contractor and the feed contractor? So the main contractor is the contractor that execute the project, right? Just to give an example, if we're talking about Saudi Arabia, Ministry of Housing, this is the owner. When they're going to hire ABB Rock or a Bawani to build the project for them, this is the main contractor. The feed contractor is a consultant applying for a bid to be a consultant of a project. Like, for example, any of the consultants that we have of Amit Poster or any of, for example, Dar al Handasa, all of these companies are the ones that do the consultancy of the project. This is for Yazan. And then we have another question as well. How much accurate the contact list attached with each project, especially the numbers? I think we already answered that. Yeah. Accuracy for us is based on that we reach out to the source. We don't ignore that there is an error, because human error exists in the process if someone put a wrong number, but you can always count on the contact research.
Yes, but just Karim, to add on the accuracy, of course, we cannot confer, or we cannot say that we are 100% accuracy and no one's is perfect, but we also do not have a control in case some of the contacts would, there will be changes if they move to a different departments or different companies. So like I said, there's always some useful tools that you can use, such as Contact Researcher, and you have your dedicated account managers and customer success managers to support you. Should you need more information or would like to get the right contacts for you, so just make sure that you go to the right channel by sending us your request, and our research team will get back to you as soon as possible.
Amazing. Thanks a lot, Jill. Mr. Basim is asking, I usually do send emails to researcher, but most of the time either they are very late in reply or they don't reply. So I assume emails, what do you mean by emails, Mr. Basim, is that you send the contact researcher, because this is the only way that you can contact the researcher through the website. And when you send the researcher, just to give you a quick understanding of the back-end process, the researcher cannot close any case unless it's resolved, even if successful or failing. So you will need to receive a reply, and as we said, positive or missing it, and you will just try to put it on. However, sometimes if it's late, because we put from 3 to 5 days, but it depends on how the question is, right? Sometimes you need digging deeper in that. My advice to you as a short-term solution, when you send and you find that it's a bit late in tracking, you can always send to the customer success manager or your account manager via email separately, and they will track it in person for this specific inquiry, and they will make sure that they push the researcher to get you an answer out of that. Okay, thanks, Mr. Basim, for the question. As well, we have another question here. Can we ask a specific contact any company like a head of engineering? So, Mr. Yazan, you're going to find that most of the contacts that we're having, it's more around the project lead or project manager or procurement manager. However, what I always suggest, if I'm in your place, I will do the same. I will honestly ask the researcher if I want this, because if the researcher is in a good, really strong or tight relationship with the source or the contact, they will not mind to ask the same person if you would like to have the head of engineering. If you want, by the way, a reference to that, if you clicked in the projects, you can see I'm still sharing my screen, guys. You can go down here, and when you click into the project contact job title, these are all of the contacts that you can ask about. Just a reference for you, right? So you can, short answer, you can ask the researcher about it, but make sure that is not so far away from these expertise. Okay, so the next one, Mr. Bablu, do you have section for renewables power generation, specifically on PV solar projects in the MENA region? So as you can see here as well, Mr. Bablu, you can go to the left-hand side to the sectors, and then you can check, for example, a sector like power, and then under generation, you can choose the solar part that you would like, or the different plans that you would like to reach based on that. So you can tick it here, and then you can leave it open for MENA, and then you're going to have all of the solar projects or the renewable energy for a certain subset. Great. So we can have as well.
There is a question, Karim, by Ziad. Do you want me to answer this?
Please.
Okay, thank you so much, Ziad. Hello, many times the management team, they try to approach and for certain projects, but when they approach for the status, it does not match in what is the latest update from MEED. So basically, when it comes to project status, right, it might come across to you as not matching what is in MEED projects. So what you can do is when you go to the project profile, and Kareem, maybe you can just click on any of the project profile, or do you want me to share my screen?
Sure, I can just click in this one, for example. It's a
okay.
project. Yeah.
So we mentioned and highlight again the contact researcher. Well, of course, before you contact the researcher, you can also look further down under the news and updates to see what is the current update on the project. Now, it might not match the current status because it might depend on I mean, the exact update might not be the same update that the client or the one that you're contacting to would say. But if you look at the news and updates, it will give you a good indicator of what is the actual update on the project. Now, if you're looking only at the status, it might be still broad in a sense that we don't know the exact update. But in case that the news and updates does not give you that information, you can always contact the researcher, not only for contact information, but also to verify the latest news and update about the project. So Kareem, if you just simply scroll up and we look again to contact researcher, you can find there an option to choose the status, news and update. Yeah. And you should be able to submit your question to us, not only about asking about questions, but also getting updates and more information with the scope, the location, the values, and so on. So please use this contact researcher tool should you encounter some projects that would need to verify the news and status. Thank you.
Great, thanks a lot, Jill, for answering the question. Can you please repeat how we can get the contact details? I think it's as well, Mr. Mohammed is covered in the training. I believe you have two different options: the Excel sheet, as Jill was showing, or the project profile, as we open now. The project profile, you scroll down and you find the companies and roles. So you can find it as well. It's definitely recorded there. Moving on, we have Mr. Saher, how can I develop a database for a certain EPC company for all of the projects they are executing or participating? Again, we covered that as well. Saher, it's really valid question. When you click in the company profile, you're going to find, let's say, for example, EPC, like, I don't know, like Shapoorji again, or any main contractor for oil and gas. You will find all of the associated projects. You can just simply filter it to execution, and the role will be contractor. So this means that these are all of the Shapoorji project that they are executing right now. Again, I said it fast, but you will find it in the training is recorded. Mr. Ziad, so how can I make sure that the status are last updated? As we did, Mr. Ziad, as well, when you scroll down to the status, you are going to see the latest update. For example, this one we checked together. It was literally yesterday, 20th of May. So yesterday we called, they said the main contractor tender is yet not issued. You can take it for granted, or you can contact a researcher as well. Let's say if you open the profile and you found the last update 1 month ago, you can do, as Jill said, you just contact a researcher and ask about the update.
Yeah, and Kareem, do you want me to answer the next question by Mohammed?
Yes.
Yes. So thank you, Mohammed Al-Khatib. Would it be possible to get contact emails within the project's bidders using MEED? So earlier when I showed and shared with you the project profile, which has the bidders list, you can see there that we have, you can indicate which companies are bidding or pre-qualified to bid, as well as their general lines. Now in MEED Projects, our scope of covering you with the direct contact is when a project has been awarded. So you can see there, some of the contacts may have their email address available because it has been already awarded and we've identified who is the main contact for the bidders. However, for the contractors. However, during the bidding stage, we are unable to capture who is the main contact since they're just a bidding as a company, as well as their email address.
Thanks a lot. So the next question is, how about China's investments? You're on initiatives, and for example, PNU construction market. There is specific search for that. To be honest with you, Tahir, I'm not familiar with the two terminologies you mentioned here. So I will just advise, generally speaking, if you would like to search for a certain information, if these investments are reflected into projects, like projects would be built in Saudi, in the Middle East, in whatever location, you can search by the project name, the owner name. You can do that the opposite, the company name or the project name itself, and it will pick it up to you. So for example, if you want to search for all of the Chinese companies, as we discussed in the company profile, you can come back to it again in the training. I mentioned that you can check all of the Chinese clients or Chinese owners or developers or contractors in your role in a certain country, where you can go for each owner or each contractor and check the associated projects. You will find as well the way to do that.
Kareem, maybe we can answer a few more questions. I know we're almost on reach our time for this webinar, but don't worry, we have recorded all of your questions and we will be responding to you directly after the session, either through your customer success managers or your account managers.
Yes, I totally agree with you. Thanks a lot, Jill. I think the last question, Hannah Aburji, she is asking MEED, equal construction, equal general contractors, equal cranes. Is that correct? Okay, I don't, honestly, I didn't get the question, Hannah. Sorry for that. But if you would like to, I think maybe you want to focus on construction for the general contractors or the main contractors, you can do that by searching only for construction sector, and in the role you can just put main contractor. It will appear all of the projects that you can search for. And these projects, I'm sure if it's construction, most probably it will need cranes as a product. So you can always reach out to these contractors and offer the services. If this is answering your question, please, if anyone felt that the answer is a bit unclear, we'll be happy as a customer success manager to be in contact with you after the session and take it one by one, like one-to-one, so that we have a more focused part. So yeah, I think this is it for the Q&As. Thanks a lot, guys, for engaging. I will just leave it for Jill.
Yes, thank you so much, Kareem, and also for answering all the questions that our attendees have submitted. Again, thank you also for participating. It was a very engaging session today, and we hope to do more of this very soon for you. So make sure that we accommodate all of your questions and also to consider all of your feedback for us. I hope that this session was beneficial and you've gathered some useful tips and tricks on how to generate the project leads. We look forward to you getting more opportunities now from the platform, now that you know the right tools to use and the tips that we've shared. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Kareem.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.